The plugin is also a part of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, where we have community, because it is an individual practice, but it's also a collective vibe.
Peace, y'all. Keep it peace. Just keep it peace, y'all. Keep it peace.
We got Reece in the house, Mucusless Diet Healing System practitioner in the flesh. Yo, we've been talking for a little bit, and I wanted to do this segment of showcasing different mucusless diet healing system practitioners to allow for you to see the community, see people who are practicing, and get a sense of the different mindsets and approaches towards the practice. So to do this, I formulated some questions I feel a lot of people want to know, and also obstacles that some practitioners work through. Well, first off, I'll ask, how are you, Reece?
And I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is cool. I haven't done this before, so I'm happy to get into it and see what comes of it. All right. So, question 1. What's your favorite part about practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret?
I would say that my favorite part is how non-rigid it is. So
Yeah,
someone can practice it and they're not in this like rigid mindset where they're like too hard on themselves, or they try and follow some like principles and guidelines too extreme in the beginning. So they have the ability to kind of take it slow and transition slowly into it until they can build up a certain mastery with practicing the principles and the guidelines of the system. But my favorite part is just how clear it is written in the book, and how it's easy to like it's simple and easy principles that someone can practice.
what part about the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret do you find yourself enjoying the most?
Through practicing this, it's like freed me from the old ways of thinking about the human physiology.
Yeah,
So all the old medical science that we have been like taught to know about, these like protein theories and these nutritional theories,
yeah,
those were things that I and most people, well, I used to, but most people do. They like believe in and that they're always thinking about, but they actually don't really know about it because they never really studied it. No
yeah,
one really knows the history about it. But through practicing this and learning about this, I've freed my mind through like these as Arnold Ehret puts it, medical errors,
yeah.
because I'm no longer so confused about the human body like I used to be.
Okay, nice. Okay, no longer confused about the human body like I used to be. So it seems like there was a sort of self-education process that you went through with practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System.
Right. And
Mm.
it's cool because as you study the text over and over, and as you clean up your body over a period of time, like the more you clean yourself and the longer you practice it, the better you can understand the text as you go back and read it again.
Mm.
You have like a higher level of understanding as you develop your practice.
Mm. That's what's up. All right. What have you done today so far?
Well, I woke up and then I went outside, and then I just kind of sat down and listened to some music because the sun's out right now. It's
Yeah.
nice out. And then
Word.
I came inside and then I made some apple juice, and then here I am now. So not much because it's still pretty early. It's only 10:20
Okay.
in the day. So
Is it straight apples?
it was an apple, lemon, and lemongrass.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fun too, man, because you can like explore so many different like flavors with like just like different varieties of like apples have different flavors.
Oh yeah.
You can use the herbs and stuff. It makes it's like a whole journey, man. It's like really fun.
Okay. I see. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's like with the food, but
Right.
in the juice realm, like, oh, what about parsley? All right, no parsley in this one. That kind of,
Hmm.
yeah. For you, I heard your story and read your story on the Facebook about being addicted to pizza. And
Yeah.
when I was thinking about it, I was like, yo, that would be so awesome to show someone who had that specific addiction and craving towards, and just how it was so embedded, to even wanting to transition away from that and finding transitional items to transition away from that.
Pizza was a pretty big addiction for me because before I practiced the diet, I was really into pizza. I was always eating it.
Yeah,
And when I first started practicing the diet, my family was still bringing it around the house like literally almost every day. So in those early stages of practicing the diet, and if you're addicted to something like pizza and it's there every day, it can be a really big challenge to just live in that environment.
yeah,
But I knew that I couldn't have it anymore because it's like really it's like some of the nastiest mucus you can get, some nasty mucus and pus is a pizza. But so I started to apply the transitional methodologies to my addiction to that, and I think I began at that point by, instead of having like a pus pizza, like cheese, meat, like pizza dough, stuff like that, I transitioned into just getting like going to the store, buying like a super thin pizza crust, and then either making my own tomato sauce or buying like a jar of like somewhat clean tomato sauce. And then I would make a pizza with just like crust, tomato sauce, and like some vegetables. So I wouldn't use the cheese, I wouldn't use the meat. So I transitioned off of that pus factor pretty soon with that. And then I would always have that after a big raw salad, of course, to help it eliminate well. But I did that for maybe a few months maybe, and then I got to a point to where one day I didn't eat it with the salad. I just ate the kind of pizza by itself, and
yeah,
I was in the worst pain I ever felt in my entire life. Like it was like 2 days of just like agony because like it felt like I had eaten like a glue brick, you know? It was
yeah,
just like the worst feeling. So after that, I didn't mess with that, but for a while. But so after that, I transitioned into I think it was just like having one piece of toast with like some tomato sauce on it after a salad.
yeah,
Did that for a while, and then I got into doing like what was it? It was like lots of salads with the tomato sauce on the salad itself. And
yeah.
I would do like steamed and cooked and like baked vegetables with
Mm,
the tomato sauce on that too. So like I would do like a big raw salad with a baked sweet potato, and I
yeah,
would dump some tomato sauce on that. And that right there was like that satisfied me. That was a really good tool that I found out.
yeah.
But
What kind of salad were you? You mentioned a big raw salad. What kind of leaves were you using for your salad?
it could be just like spring leaves, like a box of spring leaves from the store. It could be like romaine lettuce, red leaf lettuce, just or like spinach, things like these.
Yeah.
Basic like salad greens. But
Okay.
I've also used like dandelion greens, just stuff like that.
Okay.
My salads will normally consist of like mucusless items for the
Okay.
most part.
Yeah.
It would be like an average salad for me would be like spring leaves, celery, and then tomato, some red onion, and then maybe some steamed broccoli. That
Okay.
was a classic salad. So I'd have like one of those, a really big one.
Yeah.
Throw on some tomato sauce if I wanted to, or like
Hmm.
a big old sweet potato baked. Yeah, and that hit the spot. But yeah, yeah. So it took me like it was a slow transition though away from pizza. It wasn't like overnight. I just gave it up because then I felt like if I would have done that like just immediately from seeing those pizzas, if I would have just like told myself no, and then I wouldn't have done like the transitional process, I feel like
Yeah.
one day I would have crashed and then fallen back on that pizza.
Hmm.
So I'm happy that I did a slow transition away from that where I did it. Yeah, just a slow transition. It worked really well. And so now I'm at the point where I don't, if I see pizza, because my mom still brings it around sometimes, if I see it, it doesn't, I don't have the same like addiction feelings that I used to have towards it.
Yeah. Before you started the transition, what adverse effects was the pizza causing you?
Um, well, like at that time, I didn't really notice any effects because I was like already constipated because I was eating pizza. So I never really knew what it was like to not be like that. But like after getting off of it, I could just notice how I felt different from when I was on it. Like for example, I could breathe easier, much easier, and there wasn't that sense of heaviness and like glue in my guts. Like you know what I mean? I felt cleaner, able to move better. I
Yeah.
also like yeah, it's like back when I was eating it, it's like a real stimulant, you know, because
Mm,
pizza is like one of like the nastiest things, so like you can get real stimulated off of eating it. So I
mm,
remember just like when I was eating it before I transitioned off of it, it was like one of the best highs ever, you know.
mm-hmm.
So I really noticed how addicting it was once I started transitioning off of it.
Mm. Okay, interesting. What made you believe the mucusless diet healing system would solve that problem?
Well, at that time before I got into it, I had tried like every other way of eating except for a few. Like I never did the raw carnivore thing. I could never see myself doing that. But I tried like the heavy meat diet. I tried like the all the protein fads. Like I would go to the gym every day, sometimes twice a day, and I would eat like chicken for breakfast, salmon for lunch and dinner. It was like real nasty. But
Yeah.
I was taking all the protein powders every day.
Oh,
Um, during that time period, I was like really like getting some health problems. Like I looked good externally,
yeah.
but I had like intestinal problems at the time that were developing. So I had to go to the hospital to get colonoscopies, and I was like pooping blood and stuff like this
Dang.
because I was eating real bad.
Yeah.
But I also had really bad acne. It was like terrible. But so then at that point, after like I was getting all that stuff at the hospital done with the colonoscopies, I started searching for different ways of eating.
Yeah.
And so I came across a guy talking about raw veganism and veganism. So at first I went vegan, then I tried that, then I tried the raw veganism, then I tried like a little bit of fruitarianism, which I crashed after that, of course, because I didn't know about transition.
Yeah.
Bad, but and then I came across the Mucusless diet, and so I knew that this worked because I tried everything else and none of that worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was all complicated. There was no simplicity to it because, like as Ehret says, what cannot be simply grasped is humbug.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what really sold me on the Mucusless Diet Healing System and the V equals P minus O theory that Ehret talks about
Yeah.
was how after just like a few weeks of practicing it and doing my lemon enemas, I got like the most terrible stuff out of me, like just the worst stuff.
Yeah.
And I immediately felt better after that too. And like
Mm,
just after a few weeks, my skin cleared up. All my intestinal problems, they were just going away like rapidly.
mm,
All my other health problems I didn't even know about were healing up.
yeah.
So that sold me right away that the body was an air gas engine and that vitality equals power minus obstruction. So
Mm,
just in that short period of time, as I eliminated obstruction, I felt immediately better and I saw results. So I knew that it worked right away.
yeah. Regarding the pizza, like what makes you feel you are better off without it?
I know that I'm better off without it because of all the improvements that I've seen so far through transitioning off of it. So I know that if I were to go back, it would only be a negative result.
Mm, okay. So from seeing all the benefits you had after transitioning away from this obstructing food, you can see that if you were to eat the more obstructing food, then there's potential to regress in your physiological symptoms.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. It's like you coming from this place, acne, digestive problems, transition away, you notice all that's healed, cleared up acne, cleared up skin, and then all right, I'm gonna eat this pizza again. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, what?
Nah.
Yeah.
It's also just like all the other like benefits people that practice this that they experience too. Like for example, like the body odor,
Yeah.
like that's for most practitioners that's like gone because that's not there anymore. But there's like all these other things that people that practice this that they recognize happening with their own body. But it's
Yeah.
most things that like I didn't list off because everyone else experiences it too. So like the no more having to wear like deodorant because like the body odor is not there anymore
Yeah.
for most people. That's
Yeah.
like a huge perk. You know what I mean? If I ate the pizza, I know that the next day I'd probably smell from it too. So
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna. I'd rather just eat like mucus free, eat clean, and then I won't need to suffer for that later. Because it's like you eat it and then like you feel that for like a couple hours maybe, but then you have to go through eliminating that for like days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you eat like a pizza, it's not coming out for a few days, man. It's gonna be up in there. Like that's yeah.
Yo, how often do you do enemas?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah, there's a lemon juice and distilled water, warm enemas. I do
Yeah.
it every day, if not like twice a day. I do it
Uh,
sometimes, but it's mostly important to do them when you're fasting. That's
yeah.
like if you ever do enemas, it's most important to do while you're fasting to keep that waste moving.
In your mucusless diet healing system practice, when are those key times that you use the enema?
Um, well, I mostly do it in the mornings after I wake up. I go downstairs and I make my like my fruit juice to drink. But then I also juice some lemons with that, and then I'll go up and do my enema. But then I also do it if I have the time. I do it in the evening too before I go to bed. I go up and I juice some lemons and then I go do my enema.
Okay. Do you, because I've heard people question Brother Air. This is a longtime mucusless diet healing system practitioner, Brother Air. You can check Brother Air out on Professor Spira's channel. Also, I saw an interview last night. It was Raw Foods Foot Soldier, something like that. I'll link that below. But Brother Air had an interview on there, so you can see what he's about. But people were mentioning with Brother Air or trying to ask him if he would do the enema instead of having a bowel movement. What's how do you relate with that question, and how do you when do you do your enemas relating to that question?
All right, so the common guideline that most practitioners follow is to do an enema after having a natural bowel movement. So I'll never do an enema to replace that. So if you're eating like in a clean way, then like you're gonna have natural bowel movements pretty often. It's gonna be easy,
Mm,
and then you can do your enema after that. So it works out pretty well.
cool. I feel you.
Yeah, talking about
Yo,
enemas on a YouTube channel.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yo, what is your message to all those tuning in who either are practitioners or health seekers or just people who want to live better lives?
I would say check out the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. It's if you haven't checked it out, it's a book that if you do read it, it's gonna probably blow your mind because there's a lot of things in the book that you might never have heard of before, and it talks about a lot of the theories that we have been conditioned to believe since a very young age. But it offers a whole new way of looking at the human body and the human physiology, and it offers a sense of freedom when it comes to knowing what's true and what's not true, to, like according to the human body and what health really is and what vitality really is really. But I would say check out the book, and then once you check out the book, then we can have higher level conversations and we can explore this topic together.
Thank you for coming on here and sharing your time and sharing your experience as a mucusless diet healing system practitioner, showing other people more about the community and sharing the process that you were going through with specific food substances in our culture. Thank you, Reece, for
Yeah, man. Thank
doing
you.
this. Word up.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's steamed broccoli, man. It's some good stuff, you know.
What do you like about the steamed broccoli?
It's good, man. Just it tastes really good. It's like soft. It has like a flavor to it where I can just eat that by itself for a meal.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Professor Arnold Ehret incorporates sunbathing in the mucusless diet healing system. How do you incorporate sunbathing in your practice?
I enjoy sunbathing just because it's like a pleasant thing to do. So I don't really do it just because I'm thinking about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. I do it because I just enjoy doing it, like on a casual level. So if it's like a nice day out, I just love to go outside and like go lay in the sun, find a nice private spot. But yeah, sunbathing has many benefits when it comes to the Mucusless diet because it helps cleanse the skin in a way. Before I was practicing the diet, I used to get burnt by the sun a lot because Ehret talks about the whole like white blood corpuscle theory with the it being mucus in the sun kind of burning it and stuff like that. But as I cleaned myself up a bit, like last summer, which was after like just a few months of practicing the diet, was the first summer where I never burnt before. Like
Mm,
I actually tanned for the first time in like my entire life. So that was a really interesting thing. And ever since then, I just love to sunbathe, man. So I go out whenever I can, just sunbathe.
yeah. I know you mentioned you used to stutter more,
Hmm.
and Professor Arnold Ehret has a section in his book about overcoming stammering through the practice of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. How has your experience been with speech and with stuttering?
So before the Mucusless Diet Healing System, I used to stutter really, really bad. So like public speaking events, I couldn't really do it. Just talking in general, I would stutter really bad, and it was like something that I struggled with, and I still kind of struggle with, but not even close to the same degree that I used to. So Eric talks about how he cured cases of stammering and stuttering, and like as I've noticed that since practicing the Mucusless diet, my degree that I stammer and stutter has gone down like drastically. So I'm still working on it, but it's like people they'll take classes and like lessons for like their entire lives to try and like help their stammering or their stuttering, and they can't get it fixed. They can't resolve the issue. Like they'll still stutter for like a very long time. But just through a short period of practicing the Mucusless diet, I've eliminated a lot of like mucus from my throat. I've coughed up a lot of stuff, and I noticed that I don't stutter as much as I used to, and so that's something that I'm really, really happy to see. It's a big
Mm,
improvement that I see.
yeah. Okay. And just for people, I'll see you about it, but how long have you been practicing the Mucusless Diet Healing System?
I've been practicing it for a little over a year now. I started the I got the book on Christmas of 2018, I think, 2018,
Yeah.
and then yeah, I read the book, and then I wouldn't say that I started practicing it for at least like a few months after that because I went and did like I did like a whole fruit fast for like a month, and then I crashed really hard and went on like cheese quesadillas. So that was not practicing the Mucusless diet because I obviously didn't understand it back then. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I would say it's been like maybe almost like a year and a half, a year and a quarter.
Okay. Can you please bring us through your process of acquiring the Mucusless Diet Healing System information?
Um, I was at that time when I came across it, I was like kind of exploring all different types of like dietary things and like doing my own little experiments and stuff like that to try to explore all different aspects of diet. And I came across a guy talking about eating nothing but grapes for a while. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna like check this out. And then he dropped like a little picture in the bottom of the corner of his YouTube page, and it was the picture of the book. So I was like, I need to read that. So like I added it to like my reading list, and like I think like 5 months later, it was like around the holiday time, and that's when I got the book, and then I read it. And so that's how I came across it. I just found some guy dropped it in one of his videos, and I was like, sweet. So I read it and just changed my life, you know?
Yeah. So this book was the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret.
Right. And it was the annotated, revised, and edited version by Professor Spira.
Okay. Nice. So I think I've heard you mention that you took the eCourse,
Hmm.
the Mucusless Diet Healing System eCourse by Professor Spira.
Yeah.
Was that how did taking the Mucusless Diet Healing System eCourse enhance your practice of the Mucusless Diet Healing System?
So before taking the e-course, I had read the book several times, and Spira Speaks and all the other books that accompany the Mucusless Diet, and I felt like I understood the system pretty well. But then I took the e-course, and it took it to a whole new level. Like I felt like I didn't even understand it before, even after reading the book several times. The e-course just took the educational level to a whole new level. It was like something that I really was glad that I did, because now I feel like I understand it to a more clear understanding of it. Yeah, like last summer, man, I was like after reading the book, I kind of like took a period of like solitude, kind of. It's like
Yeah,
all my friends at that time, they were like on to like, the drinking, the party and stuff like that, and I was trying to get away from that because the diet and stuff.
yeah.
But I was spending like a lot of time just in my backyard sunbathing like every day, and like there would be times where I would just like sit and like stare at the fence for like hours just thinking, like just
Uh,
in total like just being calm and thinking. And
yeah.
it was deep, man. Like yeah, it was really cool, especially with like I would be like reading Spirit Speaks, read like a few pages, and I would just sit there for hours and just think about that. Like,
Yeah.
it was great, man.
So you just mentioned while others were going out to party and have that experience, you were focused on yourself and the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Why is that?
Well, it's like the since I'm trying to practice the diet, I can't be around like the people who are trying to influence me to like drink and smoke and do drugs and then eat all this mess. And so I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to clean up my body, clean up my bloodstream. So I can't be in that environment. So like after I read the book, like the summer after that, I spent a time of kind of solitude. So I spent like a lot of time in my backyard just sunbathing, reading books, and like doing like a lot of thinking. So I would take time just to sit and think, especially after reading those books, because like they're so deep. I would
Yeah,
always like after reading those books, I would just be sitting there thinking for hours, and it would be just really cool.
you mentioned even because I relate with you in the reading one line and just thinking about that one line where you just mentioned you were reading Spira Speaks and you would read a passage and then just think about that passage for hours.
Hmm.
Yeah. How has your experience with Spira Speaks been?
It's a really good book. It's a big book, so it has a lot of information about the mucusless diet, but it offers a lot of perspectives and experiences of people who are just beginning the diet. Because I think Spirit has he has like the dialogues and emails from people that are practicing it and are trying to start
Yeah.
practicing it. So it's good for someone who's first starting the mucusless diet. It's good for them to read that, because then it has the experiences that many others have had, and it answers like a lot of questions that somebody might have in the beginning. And also in the end, it has all that poetry in the back of it, and that's like a little it's like a cherry on top. It's like a little like reward.
Uh,
But it's like, yeah, it offers some nice poetry that really gets you thinking, so it's pretty
mm,
cool.
my thought was the plugin is also key, or the plugin is also a part of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, where we have community, because it is an individual practice, but it's also a collective vibe, and that's where when we're tuning into each other and speaking about this system, we're getting deeper into the system. We're actualizing it into our lives, so to speak, because we're bringing words to it and we're having the dialogue around it. Different practitioners would express that tuning into the mucus free life information is it's a certain frequency that you tap into, and or you need to be open to in order to be accepting of that information. And it's cool to see who's tuning in and finding the information how you're putting it. So yeah, dude, I'm freaking, that's what keeps me doing it. like that, more of that, because I just was inspired. And then people just started watching me on that Instagram. I'll look at who viewed, and it's like 50 plus people each time. Like when I'm I'm like, dang, okay, like, and then they keep following. They're
And
just
that's like the real purpose of like social media, you know, is to like spread like good information. People normally have it just to like post some stupid shit, really, man. But it's like posted like something that's like meaningful and like real, like the Mucusless diet, and then people actually check it out. That's like what it's meant for.
it's straight up.
Peace, y'all. Keep it peace. Just keep it peace, y'all. Keep it peace.